Hello, I'm going to go through talking you through some break-even practice exercises so that you can do them and repeat them and hopefully understand the formulas that you've got to work through to get to the break-even point and understand the total revenue at the break-even point as well, to be able to draw one successfully on a gridded paper, which I'm going to see you through as well. So the first task says we've got fixed costs of £5,000 a week, variable costs of £5, and a selling price of £25 for our particular product. So fixed costs can be your rent of your property and machinery and all that sort of thing. Your variable costs are what it costs you to make the product. So if I'm making dresses and things or clothes, I'll be having to buy the material, the cotton, electricity and all that sort of thing. So it costs £5 to make the product, and we've got the selling price, and the product will be selling at £25 per unit, and a unit is just like one item. Okay, so first of all, the first calculation we have to do is find out something called our contribution. So step one, we need to do selling price minus your variable costs. So that means the cost you have to actually make the product. Okay, so you've got to buy the raw materials and actually make it, haven't you? So that costs us £5. So I'll give you a second just to work out that. 25 minus 5, and you get 20. Now £20 goes towards your profit. So contribution is the contribution towards your profits. Whoop, whoop. Okay, the next step, step 2. You've got your fixed costs, which are £5,000 a week. I should have put a pound sign there, sorry. And then you divide that by the contribution. Okay, and we're going to be working out now, when we've done that calculation, this will be the units that need to be sold to break even. Okay, so the break-even point will be at 250 units. So in this company, they'd have to sell 250 units before they make a profit. So 251 units, once they get to that, then they've made a profit, okay? But they have to sell 250 to actually break even, where they're not making a profit and they're not making a loss. Okay. Then what you do need to do in order to be able to plot this on a graph later on, you need to work out at break even, how much is this actually worth? So 250 times £25, which is the selling price. So it's the quantity sold, which is 250, multiplied by the selling price, and you get the 6,250. Okay, so that's task 1. We're going on to task 2 now. So we have to do the same thing, selling price minus variable costs. So that's 37.50, which is our selling price, minus our variable cost, which is £25. So it costs us £25 to make this product, and we sell the product at 37.50. All right. So that's the formula that you need to have to start off with. You should get £12.50. Then you've got step 2, fixed costs divided by your contribution. So I've got my fixed cost of £250. I'm going to divide it by my profit, how much I make. And this will tell us our break-even point for units sold. So I have to sell 20 units in order to break even. Anything above 20 units and I'll be making a profit. Anything below, I'm making a loss. Last calculation we have to do, step 3, is the quantity sold multiplied by the selling price. So quantity sold is 20 multiplied by the £37.50, and you get 750. This will make sense in a minute when I tell you how to plot it on the graph. Exercise 3 or task 3. Selling price is £75. Taking away my variable cost, how much it cost me to make it, and I get £25. Hope you like the little bounce thing. Right, next one is our fixed costs divided by our contribution. And we have to sell 400 units in order to break even. Last one we've got to work out is that 400 units multiplied by how much we sold it by, we'll get a total revenue of £30,000. All right. So there are some more practices for you to do here. And you can carry on with that. I'm just going to explain, I'm going to carry on and explain how to plot the graph. Okay, so back to our first task, you can see here we had a fixed cost of 5,000, variable cost of 5, selling price of 25, a break-even point of 250 units that needs to be sold, and the value of that at the break-even point is 6,250. And I'll show you what I do. I've tried to break it down. So first of all, I draw 2 lines like this. And you might have to extend it, but I just draw a sort of half a page picture like that. And then I think to myself, now this is the tricky bit, okay? I think to myself, right, okay, this is my units sold down the bottom. I'm going to have a heading on there in a minute. So, and I'm thinking, I need to be able to plot 250 because that's my units sold. And I think to myself, I want it somewhere in the middle, all right? And it's as simple as that. So I think, right, how can I spread some numbers along here and have 250 in the middle? Okay, so I know that somewhere on this line is going to be plotted a little X to say my break-even point. So that's 250. And then I think to myself, right, okay, same sort of thing. How am I going to get 6,250 somewhere plotted roughly where I can put a little X and it'll look quite good? So this is what I've done. I've started it there. You will hopefully get this once you keep practicing. So that's what I do first. I add the titles, units sold, and sales. Obviously, it's money going up the side. My next bit, I can then say, right, okay, up from 250 and across from roughly around 6,250, I can plot my break-even point on this graph. So I know that at sales going across the bottom at 250 units sold, that is worth 6,250. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Then you can plot the rest of your information quite easily once you've done that hard bit. Once you've done, actually the hardest bit I think is knowing what numbers to put down the bottom and up the side. And once you've done that, it's quite easy. So you put your fixed costs in, and we were told our fixed costs were £5,000, so that's there. You can then very easily do this next line, which is the total revenue line. Please don't think this is amazingly confusing, because once you keep doing it, you will get it like I have. Okay, so you plot your total revenue line from the 0 all the way through the break even cross and up to the top. Okay, and that basically tells me I can see at, say, for example, 200, I would have made, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hang on. I was trying to explain. Ooh. Right, so I clicked and I didn't. So if I go up from 200 units sold, I know that I've made £5,000. Okay. If I go up from the 500, no, because I haven't plotted it that far. If I go up from the 350 and go across, I know that I've made roughly about 8,750, something like that. Okay, that's the purpose of that. Next line is your total costs line, and that goes from your fixed costs. Obviously, then you're adding on your variable costs. The variable costs go up, obviously, with how many things that you make. So you're going to have to buy more material if you're making more clothes, aren't you? So your variable costs go up. So that line just basically goes through the cross as well. So this area here is a loss. This area here is your profit. There's one more thing that I need to tell you, and that is something called, you'll come across the margin of safety. Now, in the exam, you might be told that the margin of safety is, for example, here, like I'll show you, actual sales are 350. So you can plot a dotted line up, and it means, therefore, you have a 100 unit margin of safety, meaning your actual sales are 350. That's great. You've broke even, and also you've made a profit because you've sold 100 more, and therefore that's your margin of safety. So this is my actual drawing of that. I did a little smiley face. So I plotted my lines on the side, worked out what the scale was going to be based on basically trying to put this little dot or the X in the middle somewhere. I did my dotted line up to my break-even point and across just to show where it is. A little bit of help there. Plotted my fixed costs, plotted my total revenue, plotted my total costs, and then I made up, the actual sales are 350. All right, I'm just going to show you. I want you to have a go at drawing some of the others, all of the others, because it'll help. Number 2, when you get round to doing it, it looks like this. I made up actual sales were 35, so margin of safety was 15 units, so you could have a look at that one. And the third one, that's what I plotted there. And I made up that the actual sales were £600, meaning your margin of safety was 200 units. So hopefully that'll help, and hopefully I can stop this video now.